Oh, you started recording, okay.
Yeah.
People have started joining in. Nanis is here.
So as we wait for others to join, who has ever visited Lord Egerton Castle, or who has had a story about Lord Egerton Castle if you have not visited?
Egerton, the one for Egerton University.
Yes, there's
Yes,
Egerton
there's Egerton
University,
University,
but there's
but
Lord
there's Lord
Egerton Castle.
Egerton Castle.
No, you tell us. That one I am not aware. Oh, there is a hand,
Lillian.
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 Yes, I've been there.
You have been to Lord Egerton Castle.
Yes.
Tell us a story about it, about the castle.
It's a funny story.
Yes.
I, that this Lord Egerton built that castle
Uh-huh.
for the girl he loved,
Uh-huh.
but the girl despised that castle. Sijui akasema it is
A
it's as
horse
small
stable
as the house for what?
for horse.
For a pet or something.
Uh,
And the girl went away, or I don't know. That's how they broke. I don't remember the story very well, but yeah, the girl was not mesmerized by the castle. Yeah.
now the story is told that when Lord Egerton came, he came to Kenya about 1920. So in 1920, he was given land as an award after fighting in First World War. So he was given land by his country, but in Kenya, about
About
11,000 or
11,000 or
21,000
1,000
acres.
acres.
When you are
When
unmute,
you are
I'm
in it,
getting
I'm getting
echo.
echo.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. Now, he was given about 11,000, 21,000 acres of land. So he first built a hut that he started off life with. And then he built the first house, which was a four-bedroom, four-roomed house. The first permanent house was a four-roomed house. And then he was dating a girl called Victoria, who came from a royal family. Lord Egerton is also coming from another royal family. So he wanted to marry from a royal family. So when he brought Victoria for the very first time in this four-roomed house, Victoria told him that that house resembled a chicken coop. So it resembled a chicken coop, and it's too tiny. She can't stay in such a kind of a house. So she went back to her country. Now, Lord Egerton invested a lot of resources to build a castle, a 53-roomed house. So we are told that he imported material apart from building blocks. It is only building blocks that he bought from Kenya. But the remaining material he imported, either from Italy, from England, from China. So most of the building materials he imported. And it took him 16 years, 16 good years to construct the castle. So after 16 years, during the housewarming, he made another attempt. So he went and called Lady Victoria again to come and now see, at least he has improved. He has built a good house, and they can start off life. So now, when Lady Victoria did not decline, she came. But when she reached in the country, he said now Lord Egerton has at least made some improvement. He has moved from a chicken coop to a horse stable. From a chicken coop to a horse stable. And we are told that she did not even take more than 2 hours in that compound. She went back. So, because of that, Lord Egerton was infuriated by the action of Lady Victoria, to the extent that he gave an order to ban any female being in his compound. So even female workers, had to be taken away from that compound. So he only remained with the male. And he hosted a number of parties, and those parties, all the parties that he hosted in that place, were not attended by any female person, regardless of the position, regardless of the location, where you are about, even if they are putting on pants and they're not putting on skirts, all ladies were banned to access that place until his death, when it was now converted into a national monument. That's where now ladies are allowed to visit the place. But when he was alive, women could not access. Even the workers who were working there and they were staying there, they had to send away their wives. They had to send away their daughters. So no female person was allowed in that particular place.
So he never married.
He never married.
Wow.
Never. And because he was the last born, and he had been awarded the lordship. So that was the end of the lordship. So he ended the lordship family there.
This reminds me of a story of this lady who is in Tanzania. She is 88, who once had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend got a green card. He went to the US, and the boyfriend told her, I'll come back for you. The lady has been waiting. Now she is 90, but the boyfriend never came back. If men would approach her, she would tell them, my boyfriend is coming back to marry me. She has never been married.
Those are love stories. Love stories are there. Now, let's proceed and also listen to other love stories from within. Let's listen to this story, and then we'll also listen our personal comments. Check on the sounds.
Nikipata hiyo pesa naweza pata next week. Nitakutumia hiyo pesa by next week.
Malaya hii. Takataka. Unatumia pesa ngapi na hata rent hajalipa? Wewe utasikia aje? Kama mtu unapigia mtu akutumia pesa na hata watoto wako hajakula. Hata uoni aibu madamu unapiga simu saa kama hii. Unapiga bwana wenyewe. Hauna hata adabu. Takataka hii. Ndogo kama ya ipo. Na unaweza pata mimi ni msungu na wewe ni nyeusi. Unaweza pata mimi ya Mungu ameniomba niko na nyuma, wewe una. Sasa unatisa pesa nini? Ulikuwa unaongea na nani? Sina simu ongea. Ulikuwa unaongea na nani?
Ni mama yao.
Mama yao. Mayo ya wenye sai bora. So ulikuwa unaongea nimetusi mamangu malaya.
Sio ndio umechukua simu inakuwa. But sometimes ukipata mtu akiongea na simu, sio take time ujue ni nani alikuwa anaongea.
So ni mama.
Sasa utakuwa ukindio mimi naona nikiongea na mwanamke.
So ni mama yangu ndio nimeita malaya.
Mama yako umetusi malaya. Sasa wewe utajua vile mtasoli. Niondoke hapa. Toka. Karua.
Hello. Tie no.
Toka. Maji tie.
Ya jo vidwa nega na.
Is that familiar to some of us?
Yes.
That's overreaction.
Yeah, so Carol feel it's overreaction. Nanis, what do you think?
She acted without thinking, so there was also that overreaction.
Patrick, have you seen that story?
Yes, I have. I feel like
Is
the
it
lady is very
familiar?
distrusting of the husband. So a lot of mistrust.
There's a lot of mistrust. He's not emotionally connected with the husband. Huh?
Yes.
Lillian, your view?
Yes, that is a very sad scene. And yeah, I think the lady overreacted. And I think always if you overreact, you tend to make the worst, create the worst scenes ever, like that.
Sure. And so this lady overreacted. The action, the decision he took was not warranted for. That was on an extreme end. So probably he would have waited for the husband to finish talking to the to whoever he was talking. Then now they can have conversation rather than trying to. I want to solve it immediately. For me, I don't wait. There are people who say now, for me, I cannot wait. I will solve everything fair and square there and then. So in that case, he tried to solve fair and square, but ultimately found that he was solving her mother. He was handling.
But again, Jotham, for
Yes.
this lady to react this way, what could be underneath it? Maybe the man has been flirting with other women. There is an underneath background story we don't know, because you can't just tell me everything is okay in that home and then you just go and pick somebody's phone and talk to the other person on the phone. No, unless there are some issues which have been going on, and now this has become now the outburst situation.
Now, either the gentleman or the gentleman or the man could have also have other case of cheating and talking to other women and doing other things, or the lady could be suffering from or could be suffering from wounds that have never healed. Probably assuming if the father of the lady used to talk to women, send money, and failed to pay school fees, failed to buy uniform, failed to buy clothing, failed to fend for the family, and he has sent out money. So in that case, the lady with that trauma that happened. So just imagine that all men, whenever they are talking to women, they are just talking about money and they are talking to other side chicks and girlfriends. So in that case, because he never healed from that childhood trauma, so that could be overflowing. Now it's coming in. I want to protect. I want to shield. I want to build blocks. I want to mark my territory. I want to mark my territory so that no one comes to invade my territory. So that could be the reaction. That's why she might have reacted that way. So it's either he has got this gentleman in a different act of cheating, or it could be things that she's carrying from childhood trauma. So now, today, and that's what we are discussing today, and we are discussing about emotional intimacy, and this is not built by living together, it is built by feeling emotionally safe together. Have we seen couples or families that, let's say, the husband will be in town working and the wife will be in rural area, also working in rural area or taking care of the home, and they have never had bad instances? They are comfortable. Whenever the husband gets off, he'll rush home. They'll go be together. Whenever the wife needs support, she'll make a phone call and they'll support each other. So they are living distance, but now they have not had any instances of cheating. They have not any instances of suspicion and the like. So in that case, such families, they find that they are emotionally connected as much as they are distant. But now we'll also have other families where they are staying in the same house, but they cannot even talk. They don't even talk. We are in the same house. Once I get into the house, I'll be on my TikTok. My wife will be on her TikTok with connecting with other people. I'll be connecting with other people. So in that case, we are in the same house, but not communicating, not conversing. So in that case, that means we are not emotionally connected. So now let's try to respond to this question. What made you fall in love? We can start with the Caro. Caro, what made you fall in love?
That's an interesting question. I will say the character of the man I married.
Okay.
Okay. If I'll allow me say this, before we started dating, he would just come to my house and knock at the door and just ask, is my superbike making a lot of noise? Do you have a baby or anything? Then I realized we don't live so far from each other. Then one day, this guy came and of course, there were other guys trying to pursue me. They didn't matter. And then he was carrying an avocado. I remember that very well. Avocado and something else. And then I remember me asking, is this what you do for supper? No, get a life or get a wife. And then I was laughing. Nowadays he says such things and then I just laugh. So basically what made me fall in love with him is how his character spoke a lot about things, how he puts boundaries when it comes to other women, how he respects himself, and how he's a responsible human being. Yeah.
Thank you. Nanis, can you talk to us? What made you fall in love?
You know, you have made me remember so many things as Carol was sharing. I'll say one thing that made me fall in love he was just himself. He has never pretended, because we met in college, and it was just a funny story. The way he was just concerned about me, he was compassionate, and even when like he was ahead of me, so he was taking economics, I was also taking economics, but behind I didn't know what it is. He took time to come and explain to me, gave me past papers, just a first year, and then this guy comes, and then he saw himself. You just go and get, like that small yogurt, and bring it. And I was like, really? He was so reserved, but that care and being himself, not going to buy those, I don't know, those big things. And at the end of the day, by the way, I found ourselves planning for the wedding. Up to now, I don't understand what happened in between the buying of yogurt in the papers and us planning for the wedding. So yeah, he's just a very reserved man, but also respectable. And him having the fear of God in him, and it was very real in him. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you. Patrick, we are here.
Yes.
What made you fall in love?
As people were describing, I was really trying to come up with the words to describe the experience. I remember when I was meeting my wife, I had come from a very long a string of bad relationships, or relationships that didn't work out. Then I was telling myself at the time that I must focus on my career. I must stop looking for relationships. I must concentrate and pursue whatever I was aiming at the time. And then here comes along this lady who one caught my attention. So we met in a hospital setting, and I just used to find myself, even though I'm not in that department, just going there to say hi, to assist her with whatever work she was doing. I just found myself in and around her until her fellow colleagues also noticed. Then, as we were dating, I think it was in our second year, the contract for the place I was working ended. And as a man, you never expect a woman to take care of you, because she still had a job at that time when I was in between. She took care of me. She used to buy me shopping. She used to take care of me. She used to feed me, put even petrol in my car so I can go look for work elsewhere. It's an experience I never thought I would get from a female counterpart. And from there, that care, that compassion, and also she was very God-fearing. I think those are the things that drew me to her, and I was like, I can see someone that I can spend the rest of my life with, despite the mindset that I had come into work with, into the working environment with. So I think it was just, I think it was, to put it in another way, I think, when God sends you someone, it's not it's like a thief. You don't know why he's sending at that particular time when you've made a decision not to be with someone. But for me, that was my divine intervention, and I've been with that person ever since.
That's great. Lillian, you are not left out.
Mine is inconclusive, so I don't know whether I've concluded falling in love or no.
No, it doesn't have a definite time and date. But how did you get in?
Yeah, my current boyfriend saw me somewhere. He got my number. He called me. We argued on the phone. I trashed him. Actually, I thought he's a con man. Like, how unasemaje unanijua na mimi sikujui, until he had to produce evidence of where I was after a heated argument of almost like 1 week. Then after we started engaging and talking, I realized he's somebody who is committed. He committed himself to just getting to give me evidence that he knows me while I didn't know him. And even after me talking to him so badly and everything, and trashing him, he never gave up. And along the process, he just allowed me to be myself and to speak my mind and everything. I think so. After like some few months, I told him I'll only like you when I see you. So he organized for a date. So when I saw him, I liked him, and that is how I fell in love.
In December, we are coming for the wedding.
So it is conclusive.
No, in December, we are setting the date for the wedding. Coaches are exempted from giving their story. Is that so?
No, why would you say that while you subjected me to Jotham? Don't let me produce the wife to tell us the other side of the story, please.
We have this. He was he was the managing director of CBK. He was called Eddie Njoroge. Up to date, he's still not yet married. He's a brother to this Nyeri Diocese Catholic Bishop Muheria. Do you know him?
I know Muheria. I don't know the other person.
Yes. He has a brother who was a brother. He was gotten from convent, and he was taken to CBK. He became governor of CBK for quite some time, and this gentleman did not marry. So at a certain point, for me, I had decided I will also live the life like this gentleman. And then I met somebody on the street and said, "Now you look like my son-in-law." So I didn't conceptualize. I didn't take it serious. But later on, he said, "Now you must be my son-in-law." And so in that case, I had to accept. Is that story complete?
No, you have to accept what?
It is not.
You are running away from the fact. We want your experience with your partner, not the in-law part. No, we are not interested with the in-law.
No. See, I'm telling you, the mother-in-law said there must be son-in-law. And then from there now, he did everything, and we just gave the wedding date. And the wedding was there, and we completed. So
now, allow me say this, Jotham.
Yes.
You see, even when Isaac's father was looking for a wife for Isaac, Isaac had to go and see who is this woman. Anyway, when you saw her, how did you feel?
When I saw her, I said, let's start life. We learn how to stay together.
Oh, wow.
And we have been learning how to stay together. Because
that's interesting.
If the mother-in-law saw and felt that I was a good person, and it's not easy for ladies to advocate for their daughters. When your mother, it's not easy for your mother to advocate that you're actually a good girl. But now, if the mother-in-law has advocated, so who was I to say no?
Let me tell you, Jotham, my mother has tried that matchmaking. It didn't work. It's not all women. It's not all circumstances. Mine didn't work. I didn't like them.
But for me it worked. So I'll be inviting you for first anniversary. Sometime next month we'll have a cake, so you'll come for it. So now we know what made us fall in love. So now from there, when you fall in love, what changed? Are there things that have changed in your life? Just tell us, two people to tell us what changed. Oh, yes, we are four. So 2 people will tell us what changed, 2 people will tell us what remained the same. So who is volunteering to tell us what changed? Lillian, what changed?
Still inconclusive, so I can't point out. So maybe
you can't say. So what has remained the same?
It's commitment, yeah.
Okay. Patrick, what changed? Oh, Nani's is on. Nani's what changed?
Yeah, a lot has changed. I would say for the last 15 years, I've been married for 15 years. So during that time, a lot has changed for the good. I would say that his commitment has increased, and even the love. It was not just that what made me, fall in love. Those small things like yogurt. No, it's not just about yogurt. It's just like investments, and that time he was an assistant pastor. Now he's a senior pastor. And commitment. Not only the way you'd just pray. No, it's not just about prayers. We pray together and even teaching the children how to pray. So I'll say that the change has taken place for good. And now it's not just about me, but also our children. So they are also in the mix. So that's what I would say for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Caro, what changed or what remained the same?
Okay. It can never remain the same. You see, God's mathematics is 1 + 1 is equals to 1, not 2. So I would say actually he has made my life kinda easier. When I say easier, is given me this freedom and space to be authentic, to reach out to the sky, to do the things I love doing. And one thing I always appreciate so much about him, I remember someone has said something about their wife supporting them in their early stages. Actually, I did that. He was just getting his career on track, and things were changing here and there. Actually, it's recently just mentioned, those sacrifices you did really meant a lot. But now, for now, it takes the heavy load, and I'm left there to carry out my dreams. And the one thing that I'm really grateful is how is becoming a very wonderful father to our son. And oh my goodness, if I start talking I won't finish. So it's just amazing experience, let me just say that. Having someone to defend you even when you're not there, having someone to have your back, like even his family knows, no, you have to respect his wife or you will have a problem with him. So it's just that. It's amazing having someone to protect you. We are talking about marriage. Susan is asking about the topic. I think I've responded to that.
So,
Yes.
Susan, we started off with this question: what made you fall in love? Can you tell us what made you fall in love?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm sorry I've come in late. I'm inconvenience here. Yeah, I'm catching up with the team. The topic is about what marriage.
Yes.
So this tough question asks what made me fall in love with him. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I just found myself following him. I don't know.
It just came organic. It's just organic.
I don't know really, but there was this attraction. He looked friendly. Somebody you can talk to. Just somebody you can really share. You can speak your heart freely, and that is it. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, okay, that's great. Rose Jerry, what made you fall in love? Rose, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, I can. Just a moment. There's a bit of noise. Good evening to everyone. My apologies for being so timely. What made me fall in love? That's a very good question because it was very unexpected, but I like that it was very natural and I never had to wonder or worry about what is the next, how do I put it? You see how there are those high expectations of you need to be with someone who meets a certain criteria. I don't know about now, in the Gen Z, before used to be the told that enhancer has to do this, has to be working this, or has to, present things in a certain manner. What I like about this is that it was so natural and surprising for me that I looked forward every day to see what is in store. And he used to have this question he would ask me every time towards either the end of the day or beginning of the weekend, which is what's the plan? What plan do you have? Meaning, this is somebody who genuinely engages you and your company and would love to get to know you more, as opposed to what perhaps I had experienced before, especially just before I met him, where unfortunately I was being pushed. You have heard of these families where they are so tired of their family member being single all the time. Every December, who have you brought? Nobody. Okay. Who have you brought this time? You have not even thought of bringing somebody. So coming from that point of having to be pushed towards someone's direction who genuinely doesn't want to settle, to meeting somebody who just wants to see you for you, get to know you, and come through for you, and is equally as cautious but wants to see where this is headed. For me, that spoke volumes. I don't.
Thank you.
I don't know whether I have answered your question.
Yes, you have answered. And now, before you leave, Ross, the second question was what changed or what has remained the same?
What has changed? We most definitely are not the same age as we met. That's for sure. So I like that the changes have been almost similar. Where you wake up in the morning, you're like, "How's your back today?" And, I don't know about the back. Do you think we should try another mattress tomorrow? Should we buy another mattress because the back is not, or the knees? So the changes have been over time. Of course, we've been able to get what I see the court referring as the issues. So at least we've had children. We've been able to, of course, be married. We really follow each other. So many places, though, so that hasn't changed. But I like that even as we follow each other to pursue our dreams, we still maintain what we had before. And what I say the same. I don't know. It's how you just steer in the direction and you get lost in sort of this one is mine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That's very correct. So we move on. We have discussed those three questions. What made us fall in love? We know it. We have discussed what has changed, and we have agreed that a lot will change. There are things that might remain the same, but not very because of growth. Even if you are still alone and you have grown for you by the time you are finishing campus, even if you're not married, because of the passage of time, there are things that will just grow because your brain will also have developed. By the time you are graduating, approximately 24, 23, 24, your brain has not matured. Brain usually mature from 25, between 25 and 28, thereabout. So in that case, your brain will not have matured. That's why you'll find that those youthful or Gen Zs, they're mostly emotional, more emotional than they will reason. So in that case, because of growth, then you anticipate that everything will change. So you don't anticipate that some of the things might remain the same. But the attachment, some of the love language might remain the same. So now we define this emotional intimacy. So when I talk about emotional intimacy, it's a feeling emotionally known, accepted, valued, safe, and also connected. So it involves things like trust, vulnerability, openness, compassion, and empathy. Sometimes, because of the passage of time, as you have stayed together, there are things that you can estimate. There are things that if I come and tell you, I've seen your spouse doing this, you can dismiss from the onset. There are things that you don't expect it, because the time you have stayed together, if you are emotionally connected, there are things that you say, no, okay, I don't anticipate that person can do this. You get it? So because you have built trust over time, you have shared stories. This is what I am thinking of doing. This what I'm or this person wanted me to do this, and so in that case, because of that connection, because of those things, there are things that you can actually vouch for your partner. And there are things that if somebody come and tell you your partner did this, you cannot even defend him, because you know it's obvious who you expect, because you are connected. Now, characteristics for healthy emotional intimacy, it will include emotional safety, honesty and communication, honest communication, respect, acceptance, repairs after conflict, shared dreams, and mutual support. We'll look at some of them in details. So now, if I told you, I'll ask you this question. Are there things that you like to share with your spouse, but you don't know how you can start sharing with your spouse? Susan, are there things that you like to share with your spouse, but you are wondering how you will start that conversation?
Yes.
Yes, Susan. Are there some
Yes.
things you like to share with your spouse, but you keep wondering how you'll start that conversation, so you are better off keeping them as your secret?
Very true.
So many items, or just one or two things that you wouldn't like to share with your spouse?
Not everything, of course. A good percentage I'm share with him, but there are others which I may not be able to share because you really want to perform.
Yes, thank you. Patrick, are there things that you wish you think you can't share with your spouse?
Yes.
Thing that I don't think I can share with my spouse. I'm not sure. I think there are. Okay. Initially, early in our relationship, there were things that I felt I should keep to myself. And, there's this phrase of rupture and repair, where you get into a conflict in the marriage, and then it helps you open up about how you're feeling about certain things, or to open up about things in your past that your wife may not know about, like past relationships that maybe were hurtful, or maybe you did something wrong. So in the process of that rupture and repair that we have gone through over the 11 years that we've been together, I feel like there's a lot that we have unpacked that I would earlier not have shared, that now with time and with comfort and with an improvement in our communication, slowly, in a very organic way, you just open up and start allowing someone in. Because I remember when we started dating, I was a very closed off person. I didn't want to share a lot of things. I wanted to hide a lot about myself, my insecurities, etc. But with time, with her getting to know me, there's a joke that we normally have. You know you love someone and you can put in front of them. Something like that. You become more open.
Yes, thank you. Yes. So now, from the onset, because you are still learning each other, you might say, okay, I want to share this, but you're not very sure if she might have, or she, either he or he might have that emotional stability to handle that story. Because now, if we just met, then I'm already telling you how I passed through bad hands. So in that case, you might start looking at it how will it look. But now with the time, we create that trust. As we create that trust, then you find it becomes easier. And in case of anything, if I have any big things, we have any problem, then you find that the only person you feel safe to share with is your spouse. So in that case, if you have reached that level, that there's nothing I know I can share, and I know if I can share and say, keep it this secret, this is our secret, this is our family secret, she will keep it as a family secret. I will not go and share with her. Then the next day, I get a feedback or I get phone calls from other quarters. So in that case, if it has reached that level, then we would say we have a healthy emotional intimacy. Now, the moment I tell you and that I'm planning to do ABCD, but I've not reached, for example, I'm planning to buy a plot, and the following day, and then I'm getting people making phone call. You see, you have heard you are buying plot, I have a plot to sell, and we had not reached an agreement. I was still window shopping, or I was still looking for resources. I had not accumulated sufficient resources. Then it means that at that level, we have not matured emotionally together. We have not connected emotionally together. So in that case, if I have any investment plan, I better off do a surprise. I better collect the resources, then go and buy a plot, then I just go and say, this is what I've bought. Yes, so in that case, because we have not connected effectively. But if you have connected, then I say, yes, I'm planning to buy a plot. So in that case, when I say I'm planning to buy a plot, and I can even give some information, yes, I'm estimating a plot for 1 million. So far, I have 300,000 in a account or in a circle. So I'm estimating that I can borrow 3 times that will be 900,000. So I'm still looking for this 100,000, which I must do in cash. So now, if we have connected emotionally, then you say, okay, she will volunteer. Yes, I'll look for 100,000. Can we do it next month? You apply for the 900. Let me get 100,000. I top up. Then we settle. So in that case, we have connected emotionally. But if you have not connected, you'll find that she'll go out to say, now my husband has 300,000 in account or in a circle. She is not giving me this money to do shopping, but he's just thinking of going to buy land or wasting this money on land, and even we may not even go to stay there. So in that case now, or is now telling you, okay, you want to buy a plot for 1 million. So he has shared with friends or neighbors, and the neighbors coming in, yes, I have a plot that he is selling at 400,000. But we have not connected you with the location where I want to buy this land for 1 million is not the same location the other plot is being sold for 400,000. For her, because we have not connected, she's looking at we are better off going buy to that plot at 400. So in that case, within that 1 million, we would have saved 600,000. But now I might be looking at the distance. If we go to buy that 400,000 plot, the distance from our workplace might be too far, and it may not be even convenient to you to stay there. Or some of our amenities might not have reached that place. So we are going to buy land and wait for pipe water to come in. We are waiting for electricity which has not been connected, but 1 million I'm sure we are going to buy where those amenities are already there, and we can construct and start our life seamlessly. Reflective exercise. Reflective exercise. As an individual, I would like you to rate your marriage in terms of emotional safety, in terms of communication, in terms of trust, friendship, romance, conflict resolution. And it's on you rate on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1, you feel If it's emotional safety, you feel emotional safety is not there at all. And 10, where you feel emotional safety is at the top notch. It's there at maximum level. So I give you a minute. You rate. You can write down, write and count the score. But I will not ask you to announce your score. Your score is private. And we are restraining ourselves to the past 6 months. The past 6 months. The past 6 months. How would you rate your marriage or your relationship? You have 1 minute to rate. Thirty seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. Hopefully you are done. Now add. Now you should be adding. When you have done adding, you can give me this label. You are done. When you are done, you can give me the label. You are done. Okay. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Nanis. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, you are done.
Yes, I'm done.
You are done. Ross, are you done?
Yeah.
Yeah. You still need some few seconds.
Oh no, I'm done. Thank you.
You are done. Okay. So I said it's a self-reflection. Huh? So in that case, we don't have to announce, but we'll just look at what does it mean. So now we look at a score, what you have scored as individual requester. If at all you scored yourself, any area you scored yourself between 1 and 2, that means there's a critical concern. Those are now they highlight the areas that we need to look into in details. So you can check whichever parameter you have scored yourself between 1 and 2. That means those areas are critical. There's a critical concern that we need to address. If you scored anything for 3 and 4, that means it's at risk. You are at risk, and so you need to start attending to it. Then, if you scored 5 and 6, that means you need attention. You have to attend to it before it slides. You know what happens? The way love grows, the way emotional growth grows, that's also the way we depart. Unlike me, who was told now, I was matched and I was told this is the right person, and I said now yes, we can move on. Within 2 months, we had already set the wedding date and everything was moving on, and we cleared everything and we concluded. Most of us, we have to take time, or rather even after doing that, we had to now to take time, say now we are past wedding, but now we have to continue, so it's now growing our relationship. So if we say now we have finished wedding and then everybody to live his life, then we'll deteriorate, we'll find now we are not compatible, and that's where we get into nasty things. You have had there's a psychologist who was shot last week. So, and you have heard of that story? Yes, most of you have heard. It was the co-wife who has been arrested. The co-wife has been arrested that she might have planned for that murder and all that. So in that case, that means at first there were issues that needed attention, but because the attention was not paid off or was not paid, so in that case, it deteriorated, it get into at risk, then it got into critical concern until now the two agreed we cannot work. So now, because we cannot work, the husband decided to move on. So when the husband moved on, the wife now feel no, you cannot move on. So in that case, I have to return you back. So he decided to go and finish up the co-wife. Now, if you rated yourself 7 and 8, that means it's healthy, and that means you are generally strong with the occasional challenges. So, which are small intentional improvements can make this area even stronger. If you rated yourself for any item you rated between 9 and 10, that means you are thriving. So these are major strengths in your marriage. So you consistently exercise satisfaction, security, and connection in this area. So you have to continue nurturing it. So you don't leave it aside and say, now, okay, because I'm thriving, now I leave. No, you continue nurturing it so that you maintain that particular tempo. Now, we have looked at how we interpret for individual score, but now let's look at cumulative. First of all, is there anybody who got total below 30? Anyone who got below 30? None, that's great. Anybody who got 55 and above? Thank you, Nanis. That's great. Another person who got above 55? Patrick, that's great. So we have Patrick and Nanis who got above 55. Anybody who got above 50? Between 50 and 55? Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Lillian. That's great. We are doing marvelous. So we are doing marvelous. We are on track. So now, if you got below 30, that means you are at a high risk. Have you heard of couples who say, I'll have left, it's only for the children. I'll have left. Or it's only that I don't have money to pay rent. It's only that he's paying rent. It's only that he's buying food. If no, it was not a matter of food, I would have left this relationship. So those people are at below 30. They are not doing anything to improve. They are at high risk. And because of that, as much as you're saying, oh, I'm staying here because of rent, but now we are not connected. Either the husband will get somebody else whom they can connect. So he might volunteer to continue paying rent because you have the children, buy you food because you have children and children need to eat and doesn't want drama. But there are chances that he can leave anytime. So if you score below 30. If you score between 30 And 35, that means you are distressed. So this emotional intimacy is significantly affected, and there's also structured intervention such as marriage enrichment program or counseling are recommended. So if you got between 30 and 35. If you got between 36 and 41, that means you are vulnerable. And vulnerable, there are several areas of concern that may be reducing emotional connection. So intentional communication and relationship building are important. But have you heard of a wife who tell the husband that unless your mother respect me, I cannot respect her back? Or have you heard of a wife who tell her husband that you're not as good as the other men? Who has ever heard of that? Or who has ever told the husband or the wife that you are not as good as the other? Munira, welcome. Munira, have you ever heard of a wife who told the husband that unless your mother respect me, I cannot respect her back?
Yeah, there are people like that. Sorry, I'm late.
Yes.
My internet has given me problems.
But at least today you have joined. Last week we missed you.
Thank you.
Welcome. So yeah. So now those comparison, it kills the ego. And when it kills the ego of your partner, then with time you get distracted. You cannot connect. We cannot be emotionally connected when you continuously compare me with the other men. Yes, you had latitude to go to those other men. Why did you choose to come to me? And now why are you comparing me with other men? There are things that I'm also doing, other men are not doing. So in that case, now when you are constantly comparing, then you are likely to get us to this between 36 to 41. That means you are vulnerable. If you go to between 42 and 47, that means you are stable, but you are growing. So the marriage has a solid foundation, but some areas need attention to deepen intimacy and also satisfaction. So you need to work on some of the areas that are weak. If you go to between 48 and 53, that means you have a strong marriage. So there's a healthy relationship with several strengths. So you need to identify the weaker areas and work together to maintain growth. So that means if you go to between from 42 and above, you don't need an intervention. You can iron out some of those issues. You can have a discussion. Let's say you can go for a dinner date or lunch date, a coffee date, and just have a discussion between two of you without necessarily involving a third party. But now, once it gets below 41, that means you now need to start getting a third party to intervene because some of the things are deteriorating. Things will be deteriorating, and it might reach a level where you'll stay together. You'll be staying in the same house, but you are not connected. You stay in the same house because on Sunday, some of us on Sunday or Saturday we usually prepare meals and place in the refrigerator. So if you want to eat, you just go and get. You just choose. For me, I want to eat githeri. I just go and get githeri from the refrigerator. I go and warm on the microwave and eat. So that means we might be eating at the same time or as a family, but somebody is eating githeri, another person is eating ugali, another person is eating rice, another person is eating chips, another person is eating chicken, another person is eating nyama, and all that. So everybody just has a meal because we are not connected. We are not emotionally connected, and that's now what happens. Now, for those who got 54 to 60, that means you have a flourishing marriage. So your marriage demonstrates high level of emotional intimacy, trust, and partnership. So you have to continue investing intentionally in your relationship. Keep on supporting each other because you already know what is you can read the symptoms, you can read the signs of each other. So that means if you see your partner lagging behind or your partner struggling, you can easily convince or you can easily support that partner. Munira, you can mute if you're not talking to us because there's some echo I'm getting. Thank you. So what is this emotional safety? So when I'm talking about emotional safety, it means that I can be myself without fear of rejection, fear of criticism, fear of shame, or fear of punishment. So emotionally safe marriages will allow spouses to admit mistakes, to cry, to express fears, to share dreams, to ask for help, and to disagree respectfully. Disagreeing respectfully, that means, remember the other time I told you it's better we disagree in the bedroom where we are just two of us than disagree in sitting room where children or other third parties are involved, because now we subject those third party to emotional trauma. We traumatize the other third party because now they're wondering, so now which side do we take? But if you are just two of us in the bedroom, then we can disagree and then discuss and say, now let's defer this motion. We'll discuss it on next weekend. So next weekend we can go out and iron out those issues. Or let's now discuss this. Let's iron out this before we can leave the house. Let's agree on this activity before we can do something else. So in that case now, it's easier for us to iron out those issues within the family. But if we take it out, then it means that we will not be very safe. So signs of emotional safety. So if you are emotionally safe, your partners will feel heard, they'll feel accepted, they'll feel valued, they'll feel understood, and they'll also feel protected. So in that case, I can say, okay, I've made a mistake. So in that case, I'm not looking for mechanism to hide that mistake, or I'm not looking for mechanism to get somebody else to cover that mistake. So in that scenario, then I feel emotionally safe, or my partner feel emotionally safe. If he can admit that he made the mistake, and then that will not translate into punishment, so we can laugh laugh of it, then it means that we are emotionally safe. But now signs of emotional safety is missing. When emotional safety is missing, we will have walking on eggshell. You have heard of people tiptoeing, eh? Nanis, when was the last time you tiptoed to your house?
I think 10 years ago.
What had happened for you to tiptoe?
You see, there are those things, trust is usually built. And once you are free with with your partner, then there would be no need for tiptoeing. But now, before you get to that point, there are times, tiptoeing doesn't just mean like the two legs, racing the two legs as you enter the house. No, it's just being very extra careful on what you want to do or even what you want to say. So I'll say, especially, I think, there are so many things that happen. So that's why I'm wondering which is the best one to share. Out of the many incidences that I tiptoed, especially the first few years of our marriage. Including even like sometimes, You know, I used to be the principal of a college, and there are some naughty people, you know, people also calling me late at night. And I remember this one time when someone, you know, a parent and a senior person told me booking their hotel and that kind of thing. And of course, I had to sort the whole issue. But the things didn't go as I expected. So I came back home late. And actually, I was dropped by, by the bodyguard. He was an MP. So I was dropped by the bodyguard. And when I got home, you know, now how do I explain to my husband that, you know, this guy, and we are just like in our 5th year of marriage, and I've been dropped by the bodyguard with a gun, and it was almost 12 a.m. So you can imagine how I entered that house, even trying to calculate the words that I'm going to use because it was late. And it's true, I had this, you know, the board meeting as the principal, you are the secretary to the board. And here I am. How do I tell the, you know, the whole true story that, you see, it's not a taxi that dropped me, it was the bodyguard. And actually the meeting happened in a club, and you are telling now a pastor, my friend, that was real tiptoeing. So
you want to tell the true story, but
yes,
even in yourself, you are not convinced that you can buy that story.
Yes. So that was the last time. And right now, you can say anything. Yeah, without any fear. And even saying it was actually the bodyguard who dropped me. Yes, but during those days, I think it was a bit difficult. Yeah.
Is it sometimes walking on eggshell or that tiptoeing, and maybe just you don't want to raise other people. You can imagine if you are coming in by that time, and your son or daughter hears your voice, and then he has to wake up. Now, before you make him or her go back to sleep, it will be just another whole story. That's why you might tiptoe. So now tiptoeing may not necessarily mean that you are not emotionally stable. But now, if it's constantly, you keep on tiptoeing, you have to be careful of what you say and what you don't say, and then that's a sign that emotional safety is missing. Number two, when you fear of speaking honestly, you see, there are things that happen. One day, I just left the house with 1,000 shillings, and I was to go to buy a loaf of bread. And after buying a loaf of bread, got a friend, I gave 500, I got another one, I gave 300. By the time I was coming back to the house, I literally had no change. So then I was told, now, because you just bought a loaf of bread, can you give me 500 to go and buy lunch? Literally, now you are saying, how do I explain? You see, the things that have happened, I just gave out this, I have dished out this 1,000 just like that. So now you are wondering, how do I start explaining? Get it? So sometimes, if constantly you get yourself in that scenario, you are not able to explain, you are not able to tell how you have spent this money, and you are put on radar to defend. So in that case, that means emotional safety is missing. When there's emotional withdrawal, last month we had World Cup, and some of the match were being played at 3 a.m. in the morning. So you just wake up midnight. They say, I'm going to watch a match for Spain, and there's no bargaining. You just go. That's okay. Just lock the door from outside and go with your key. So when you come back, you don't just disturb us. You just open and get in. So in that case, we are not concerned. We are not bothered about each other. That means emotional safety is missing. So also when you have constant criticism, I just knew you cannot do something good. Every time you have to make mistakes. So in that case, we'll know that are telltale signs that emotional connection, safety is not there. Also, when you get into defensiveness, you see, most couple listen with intention to respond. I'm just giving you an opportunity so that we don't get into shouting competition, but I'm just giving you an opportunity to say, then I come to give the correct version. So in that case, now, if we get into those and we cannot just have a conversation and agree, so that means emotional safety is has left us. So when you also have contempt, you're contemplating or how I wish you every time you say I wish I had that, I wish I had. So in that case, there's emotional safety is also going out. No, when you also have silent treatment, you just come in and you have no stories to tell with your partner. So that means you're also disassociating emotionally. So emotional safety inventory. So we also do this as an individual. So I would like you to respond to this question, and you are going to respond with either yes or no. So you can indicate number 1, yes, number 2, no, number 3, yes, so indicate yes or no in 30 seconds, because these are easy. 3, 4, 5. There are 5. Yes or no. Then I give you the next instruction. And then we proceed. Are we done? Munira, are you done? Thank you. Carol's done. Ross is done. Lillian is done. Thank you. Thank you, those who are done. So we can move. We can check how to.
What
Now,
about sometimes?
You need some few minutes.
No, sometimes. It's not yes, not no. It's sometimes.
Yeah, it's in between. But now you have to decide. You decide it to be either yes or no. Because I want to give you the second instruction. If most often it's sometimes yes, sometimes no, but most often yes, then you put yes. If it's most often no, then you put no. So now, where you have put yes, put 1. Where you have put yes, indicate 1. And count how many yes you have. Where you have put no, you put 0. Where you have put no, you put 0. Then count how many yes you have. Count how many yes you have. Now we are looking at the interpretation. If you got 0 or 1, that means you are very low in an emotional safety. If you got between 2, or if you got 2, that means you have low emotional safety. If you got 3 that means you have moderate emotional safety. If you had 4 years, that means you have healthy emotional safety. And if you got 5 years, then it means you have excellent emotional safety. We are not judging anyone because you are sharing. So in that case, now you know where you can build. And you have said you have first of all you started by identifying areas that might need restructuring. So you know if you have fewer years, then you know those areas that you need to work on. Just let's look at this story. Let's listen to this story. Is that scene familiar to you? Nanis, what is this lady trying to communicate?
I am angry with you. Please give me a break. Yes.
There's no forgiveness.
No forgiveness yet. Because you see now she's trying to hurt. You know, she's not saying anything, but action speaks louder than words. So that's what I think.
She's very aggressive. That means she's very aggressive, yes. Susan, what do you think?
The lady is expressing bitterness.
You got lost?
Sorry, my network is awful. I'm saying that it shows that the lady is bitter. She has not forgiven. She's still carrying the pain with her.
Yes. So this lady is showing bitterness, resentment. So no room for negotiation, no room for. So in that case, she is vengeful. So now we want to look at communication. How are we communicating with our spouses in marriage? So when you're talking about communication, communication will include words, will include the tone, facial expression, body language, listening, timing, and also intention or intent. So might be the lady could just have said, "No, I'm tired. I want to sleep," and then it has communicated to the partner. But now, in this case, she's using body language. I'll inflict pain on you. Yes, at first, the gentleman felt, yes, it seems like today I'll have a birthday. But it turns out it's wailing instead of enjoyment. So there are 4 communication styles, and some of the communication styles are passive, aggressive. We have passive aggressive, and also we have assertive. So we look at them one by one. Barriers to communication. So one things that will affect us when we are communicating is assumptions. We just imagine he'll take care or he will take care. He's doing this, so in that case we don't have to give information. We don't have, so in that case we get ourselves into quagmire. So number 2 is interrupting. When I'm passing the message and you want to know, we get into shouting match. So because of that, we fail to get we fail to reach an agreement. Phones are also barriers of communication. So I'm making a phone call passing one message and doing something else, or I'm sending a message, one message, and I'm talking to another person. So in that case, that could be also a barrier to communication. Mind reading. Yeah, I just presume the way I look at you, I just imagine this person is hungry. Let me go and get a chocolate. That might not be the thing. There could be other things that we will have discussed. Probably that 200 or 500 I've spent on chocolate, you could have spent on something else. Judgment. Okay, you are telling me this because of this and this, or just because I didn't have money yesterday, that's why you couldn't serve me the meal. That's why, because I didn't have this, that's why you did. So now, once you get into those judgmental, then it affects, it becomes barrier to communication. Past hurts. For men, sometimes we forget things that hurt us, and we forgive and forget. But for ladies, is it true that you usually keep them forever and ever? Caro, guide us. Is it true that you keep things that hurt you forever and ever?
It depends with what, being those things, whether they were addressed and forgiven. You see, most of the times, the battle between men and women is you always don't listen, or I'm not feeling you're listening. Then the man is saying things like I'm being blamed, or I'm being attacked. So in that battle between that couple, you find now the lady, each time she's trying to bring up something, the man is not listening. And if the man is not keen enough to note the mood, because if you're with your partner, if the mood changes, I know for my husband will just say, I know that face. What's going on? If you're not keen to notice, then that incident will pile up. When that incident piles up, another one will pile up. So what happens for when the explosion comes in, it's just not one incident where someone was not forgiven. It's a number of things that are being accumulated together. But for men, they are different. Men are very quick forgivers, most of them. You will wrong him and, oh, are you angry with me, honey? No, I forgave you a long time ago. So, yeah.
Yes. So now those past hurts, sometimes they become barrier to communication. Because now if I hurt you last month, or last year, I might even have forgotten, but now you still imagine, oh, he is coming with the same scheme that he came with the last year. That's the same scheme he's coming. So when you are stressed and also fatigued, in that case, it hinders our communication.
Okay, before
now we look at the
there is something else. Ladies take note a lot about the promises men make. You keep promising things. You keep promising things. You promised because you are in an emotional high. You are very happy and you feel like, oh, now I feel I can take her vacation, or I can do something for her. Then when the emotional high is over, the man has already forgotten they made a promise. Now the woman, I don't know, the mind of a woman will keep tabs even to that promise. So she will be like, some people, they just make promises they can't keep. She's saying passively, but it's you she is addressing.
Yes. And sometimes they are not usually promises. If I see a Prado passing, and I say in next 2 years I will have like that car. So that's an aspiration. I'm thinking of having that car. I've not promised, but now after 2 years I'll be reminded. You told us you will buy us a Prado. like this one. So what has happened? It was not just an aspiration. I wanted to have that like kind of a Prado. Yeah. Now, conflict repair. So myth about conflict. The stories. When I talk about myth, those are, we assume the stories that we have been told that healthy marriages never fight. No, marriages will. You see, you may not be violent, you may not get into violent fighting, but you will always struggle. There will be some level of fights, but that not that violent, not that physical. That you have to shout, matching. You have to get into matching, for shouting competition. Who can shout highest? And but we'll always. We are human being, and we have different expectations. We have different expectation because of that, so we'll also always have a different aspiration, so we'll have some differences. I need my cup of tea to be served at 7 a.m. But now, by that 7 a.m., that's when my partner could be waking up. In that case, now we'll have those different. Oh, okay, I said I will be leaving the house by 7:10. So now, if you are serving the cup of tea 2 minutes to 7:10, so how do you expect me to take that cup of tea? So you will always have those small differences. Or I expected to have for dinner, I expected to have ugali, then I find the chapati has been made. So there are those differences that will arise, but those are normal. So the truth, healthy couples know how to repair conflicts. And now the conflict cycle. One, we have a trigger. There's something that will push. You see, while we were walking on the street, I saw somebody passing with a Prado, and I said, next 2 years, I'll buy such a kind of a Prado. Now, if my partner is let out and could not get public transport to our place, or she had to walk a longer distance because the vehicle that you could get, it dropped her, let's say, 2 kilometers away from home, and she had to walk those 2 kilometers, then it will remind you promised us to get a Prado. Why wouldn't you have just bought a small car? Had you bought even a small car, if you didn't have money to buy a Prado, had you bought a small car, I wouldn't have walked that distance. Yes, huh? So in that case, you are getting a trigger, something that is initiating that conversation. Now, from that trigger, because now he's asking, why wouldn't I have gotten this? Then we get into reaction. Reaction. You see, I didn't buy the vehicle because you told me your sister needed school fees, and I've paid school fees for your sister. So, should I have bought the vehicle, or should I have paid the school fees for your sister? Which was more urgent by that? Which was more pressing? So, in that case, now we get now from those reactions, now we get into escalation. But have you mentioned how you have been sending your family members money? Yes, sir. I've brought in, I supported the sister who was in school or the brother who was in school, but I've also been sending some few shillings here and there to my brothers and sisters. So in that case now, we are now escalating. So we have also been supporting your family. So in that case, when you gave this much, and so in that case, we are getting to escalation. Now, from those escalation, it reach a point, one of us might decide to withdraw. Not because I want you have won, not because I just don't want to get into that kind of conversation. So because I don't want to get into that kind of conversation, so I might say now, okay, you have won, or I might just keep quiet. So in that case, I've withdrawn. So now when I withdraw, we get into disconnection. You have not discussed that idea to logical conclusion. We have not reached any solution. So in that case, we are leaving it pending. Just because I didn't want to continue the conversation, I didn't want to continue the argument. So in that case, we have disconnected. Now, after disconnection, if one of us or both of us can go and reflect, one of us or both of us can go and reflect, and after reflecting, we realize, no, I was too hard for this. even if he was demanding, this the same person, you see, he has bought A, B, C, D, he has supported in this area, he has supported here, he has supported here. I was too hard on him. He couldn't have afforded the Prado. Or probably the language I used was not appropriate. So I shouldn't have mentioned this. Or I shouldn't have brought in our parents in our conversation that have been supporting the parents. No, it was not fair to bring in the conversation about parents to that. So in that case, we can get into repair because you have done the reflection. Then you have realized now the language I might have used was not appropriate. Getting parents into that conversation was not appropriate. Getting our other family members into our conversation was not appropriate. So in that case, we can get into repair. We can apologize. Sorry, I mentioned your parent. You felt hard on you. So in that case, we can get into repair. Then after that, we can have reconnection. You say, okay, it's okay. Even if the vehicle dropped you 2 kilometers away, but you might also have overstayed there. So it's late at night. Why did you decide to overstay out there? So tomorrow, kindly plan yourself so that you can get home on time. Or if you have to stay out that late, then you are better off going back to town. Then you can get a connection from town. So in that case, we'll have solved those problems. So we have the 4 horsemen, and this according to John Gotham. So John Gotham said that in case in our communication as partners, we always repeat criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling, then these patterns are associated with the poor relationship outcomes when they persist. So every time I have to criticize, and because of that criticism, I feel okay. I wish I had taken my ex. My ex used to be better. Or Jane was better than you. Joseph was better than you. So in that case, we are thinking, and then we get into the no, it's you who has made a mistake. You didn't communicate. You didn't alert me. You didn't. So in that case, and then you start now creating the boundaries. You cannot go beyond this place. So we are creating stonewalling. We are creating the boundaries. So in that case, if constantly we are getting to that scenario, that means that marriage, as much as we might give it time, it may not last for long. It may not last for long. So in that case, when we see people that constantly, we go there, we cancel them, and then they get back to the same mistakes, same criticism. You see, this person does not do this, does not do this. We forget the other things that he is doing. We are only looking for things that he is not doing. So in that case, we get into criticism, then we get into contempt, defensiveness, then stonewalling. So if those cycles keep on repeating, then ultimately we might lose that particular relationship. So healthy alternatives, rather than getting criticism, you can have a gentle complaint. Rather than me coming in and then I'm complaining that you see you didn't take shower. So if you didn't take shower, that means you might be emitting some odor. So in that case, I can yell, can we go and can we please go and take shower? So in that case, it's inclusive. Rather than criticizing you that you have not taken a shower, but can we go now because I'm back? Can we go and take shower? So in that case, it's far much better than just telling you there's a bad odor in this bedroom. Instead of contempt, then we need to appreciate. Yes, thank you for preparing this meal. However, you can add this. So in that case, it adds rather than just saying, okay, you don't even know the quantity of salt that is appropriate for the meal. Instead of defensiveness, we can get responsibility. No, rather than because you have not done or this has not happened, I say no, I'll take care. I'll be responsible for this. I will take care of this. I'll do this. I take this as my role. Then instead of stonewalling, You can request for timeout and return. Can we go and have a cup of tea? Can we go and have a cup of coffee? And then share and come back. Can we go out? If we are staying in Nairobi, can we go to the rural area so that we just have a change of environment? Then we come back, and then by the time we come back, we'll be better off. So conflict repair statements, we can now start practicing saying this, making this statement. I'm sorry, I understand, I was wrong, help me understand, we are on the same team, so I love you. So those things, those are affirmations that our partners expect. Those are affirmations that we also expect from our partners. So in that case, if we get into those, we'll be repairing our our conflicts. So repair skills, you need to practice pause, breathe, lower voice, validate emotions, own your part, seek understanding, then reconnect. Food was not made. So I'm not, but you did. You didn't call me to tell me food was not in the kitchen or food was not there. No, say I'm sorry. I'm taking the responsibility. I didn't send money or I didn't leave money for you to buy food. So that I might have made a mistake. So in that case, I can own that, or rather say, okay, I didn't have money. By the time I was leaving in the morning, I didn't have money. I've just gotten some few shillings. Can we now make arrangement to get food served? So in that case, we don't have to get into, oh, now you just leave me with that money. What do you expect me to do? Or you are taking me for granted just because I don't have source of income. Or so rather than those information is not necessary. So when I left and did not leave money, there was no money probably. Yeah, so in that case, but I've gotten some few. Can we go and look for supper so that we can eat together? So in that case, we are able now to repair our conflicts. Forgiveness, and forgiveness does not erase accountability. Just because you have forgiven you, that does not mean that you will fail to meet the objection or you'll fail to meet your obligation as a person. So we'll forgive you, but you also have to own up the responsibility. You didn't pay this, you didn't do this. So in that case, you have to own that. So it only releases bitterness while allowing healthy boundaries and also rebuilding trust over time where appropriate. Hey, love language, attachment dynamics. We can extend by 10 minutes at most. Do you agree? We extend by 10 minutes at most. And our time is up. Okay, thank you, Susan. Thank you, those who let's look at this.
On your marks, get it, go. Nilikuwa na game mbaya.
Nimefanya pole basi.
Niache.
Si pole.
Niache.
Sasa si nimekushinda, si basi kama tukimbie. Tukimbie tena. Sasa tukimbie tena please. Tukimbie tena basi.
Ukinishinda mimi
sikushindi. Salet. Pole. On your marks.
Set. Get it.
Go. Shinda wewe.
Mimi number 1. Pesa yangu.
Shika bandizi. Wow.
Thank you.
Hi, kumbe you can run like that. Sijawahi jua kuna mbio hivyo. Wow.
Yes. Nimekushinda.
Wow. Hey, wewe ni noma. Wewe ni deadly. Wow, you can run. Kumbe siku unajua sina mbio.
Is that difficult to do?
Ni tag nanis.
That is that difficult to do.
Let me just laugh.
To do. Kuachilia partner shinde.
Imagine it's not hard. It's just knowing like what's the objective of whatever you're doing. Because I have loved that. Yeah.
Yes, that and love language you will sort out rather than insisting yes you have won, then you have won the competition that does not have a certificate or a trophy, but you have lost the trust and confidence, and you have hurt the other partner. So in that case, you go to the house, murmuring, lamenting, you can't talk. Yes, Nanis, you want to add?
I think hiyo sauti nimesikia kama ni ya Karo. Amebehave tu kama Karo kabisa.
Oh my, Nanis, nilikuwa nimekutana. Anyway.
Mnajuana kwa vilemba.
Believe you me, I
do
exactly that.
You want to compete and you must win.
It was just the last 2 weeks. We were taking a walk. It's called 75. The drive from Astro to 75 Garrisons, and then he's telling me you have to run. And I was like in my mind, no, it's a walk. Let's see who will shinda the other one. Then he's telling me, you continue running. I will catch up. Anyway, that's interesting.
Okay. So those are now some of the love languages. Just want to make sure you have won, and those are now yes. You allow you. Yes, we know physically if we were to run, I will beat you. But now, can I allow you to win so that we can have a better conversation? So, love language and attachment dynamics. That we have 5 love languages. And this is based on work of Gary Chapman. So Gary Chapman said that we have word of affirmation. Oh, you are best. I know you can run. You can beat me. You are best. You get that word of affirmation. It's a love language. And then the next thing is act of service. Yes, I'm here for you. So can I serve you? Can I wash you? Can I get you a meal? Can I get you? So in that case, that's also another love language. Gifts. However, gifts, especially for ladies now, we do interpret that it's only us who are supposed to receive gifts. But it's good. You also, once in a while, get that gentleman a gift. You'll also appreciate. So quality time. Can we just stay in the house? We say this weekend we are not going out. Nobody's going out. So we are just we'll just be around, do house chores together, prepare meals together, and spend the whole weekend together. So that is also a part of the love language. I know the weekdays, Monday to Friday, all of us have to get out so that we can make the ends meet. But now, when it comes to weekend, when we are not going out, we say now we want to stay indoors, and so that's also a love language. Then the physical touch. Every time we have to pass and trickle you, so those trickles, it's also part of the love language. So attachment styles. We have secure attachment. So secure attachment, you show you're comfortable, you are trusting, you are emotionally available, and you have healthy boundaries. And then we have the second one, which is avoidant attachment. So in this case, we value independence, we avoid vulnerability, there's withdraw emotionally. So in that case, we are trying to everybody for himself and God for us all. Then we have anxious attachment, where we have a fear of rejection, need assurance, and also sensitive to distance. Just because you have stayed out, then I wonder what could be happening. Where would you be? Who could you be meeting? Because you have been out for long, so you shouldn't be out for long. So in that case, that's an anxious attachment. Then you have fearful attachment. So this is where we want closeness, we fear intimacy, and also we have push and pull relationships. Oh, sometimes I must use coercion or some level of force to get some of the things being done. So in that case, we are getting to fearful, or have fearful attachment. So building secure attachment. So one, we must apply consistency. The things that you do, you don't just do it once, then say, okay, but I did last week. The same way we eat 3 meals a day, that's the same way we should build the consistency in those attachments. Then also becoming reliable. As I know, when you come in, I know once he come in or once he come in, this problem will be solved. So in that case, we can depend on that. And then having empathy, putting yourself in the other shoe. Yes, I left in the morning. I was going to a training, and this training was to be in a hotel, and I did not leave any money for food. Then I'm just imagining, for me, I'll eat in a hotel after, when it gets to tea break, I'll go and have tea. When it gets to lunch, go and have a buffet lunch. But now I didn't leave anything in home. So in that case, I must put myself in that shoe. How would he feel? Forgiveness. When there's a mistake, we need to forgive each other. Then you must have transparency in terms of resources, in terms of communication, and yes, we must communicate with the transparency. Then we must have affection and also shared rituals, things that we do together. Wow. Now, because you are talking about emotional intimacy, there are things that happen and we don't deal with them, and because we don't deal with them, they still will affect our emotional intimacy. And one of them is father wound trauma. Father wound trauma is likely to affect our intimacy as much as it happened we saw when you are still young, and in that case, we have grown with it, so it's likely to affect our level of intimacy. So emotional pain resulting from unhealthy, absent, abusive, neglectful, or emotionally unavailable relationship with one's father or father figure. So if you didn't have any good relation with your father, that means as you have grown, you will get a husband, but it will keep on reminding you men are not good. All men are dog. It will remind you all men are dogs. So how does it affect us? It will affect your identity. It will affect your self-worth. It will affect your attachment. It will also affect emotional regulation, trust, and relationship patterns. So because the father will come in probably a mid-month, whenever he has gotten salary, he'll disappear from the house. So mid-month, when there's no money, he'll now start appearing once in a while. So in that case, when you get married, you get a boyfriend, and he is put on night shift. When salary has come in, you don't imagine he's just working night shift. You just imagine the way your father used to behave, that's way this gentleman is also behaving. So types of father wounds. Now we have a physical absence. So in this case, it might be because of divorce, it might be because of death, abandonment, or working away constantly. So that can create that physical absence. We have emotional absence where the father presents physically but emotionally unavailable. Your father does not even ask you how did you perform, or have you done homework, have you or in school what did the teacher say. So in that case, if the father didn't ask that, so you feel okay, he's there, but he's not doing any, he's not supporting. No, you can also have verbal abuse, or you have criticism, humiliation, and rejection. So those are also things that can create wounds. Then you also have physical abuse, where it can be violence or intimidation. Now, mostly fathers are used as the disciplinarian in the family, but now if they exaggerate that disciplinarian role, so in that case, it might turn out to, it might give the father wound. And then also sexual abuse, where they have this direct abuse or failure to protect. You say sometimes sexual abuse could have been caused by a close relative, but you reported to the father and the father did not take any action. This person is seducing me, is touching me inappropriately, but when the father does not take any action, the assumption is that the father has a condone or has a willfully agreed to that. So in that case, that can cause a disattachment. So another thing that also affects us is attachment theory, and this was proposed by John Bowlby, that children develop attachment styles and we can have healthy father relationship which promotes secure attachment, emotional safety, and also healthy independence. But we can also have father wounds which will increase avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, and also fearful attachment. So just because of how the father took us, especially in some scenarios where it's a stepfather who is taking care of the children, you might find that scenario where the children are not that close, they are not close in relation with the father. So when they grow up and now they are getting their spouses, they still portray that avoidance. Another thing that we might suffer at childhood and still will affect us in our marriage is parentification and emotional intimacy. So now when you're talking about parentification, is a form of role reversal in which children assume responsibility that are developmentally inappropriate and normally belong to the parent or a caregiver. So instead of receiving care, children become the caregiver. That's the ones who are giving you emotional. You see, mommy, don't worry. If I go to school and I pass exam, I'll get employed and I'll build you a house. You get that? So it's the child who is giving assurance to the mother rather than the mother giving assurance to the child. So it's the child who is giving care, taking care of the parents. So we have many ways that children are involved in this parentification, where we are having caring for siblings, managing household responsibility, providing emotional support to parents, and also acting as a mediator during family conflict, and also becoming the family's problem solver. We have some parents who say, hey, Jane wangu ana behave kama mtu mkubwa, ngoja nitamwambia. So in that case, as a parent, you become closer to your daughter, you become closer to your son. So anything that happens between two of you, you have to let your son get involved or to have the know-how. Sasa baba yenu amekataa kutoa pesa ya school fees, tufanye aje? You are asking your son, you are asking your daughter. So in that case, what you are subjecting that son or daughter, you are subjecting them to parentification, and that is likely to affect their future relationships. So healthy responsibility and parentification. So we don't just assume that if children are taking responsibility, it's parentification. So if at all children are taking age-appropriate chores, that's not parentification. By the time you are getting 10 years and you are just telling you to wash your shirt, your t-shirt, and all that, so we are just making you responsible. That's not a parentification. If there are temporary assistance, just because today I'm not in, or parents, you are going out for a meeting and we are leaving you with the children, but you have made the food available, you just warm in microwave and eat, so that is not a parentification. But if it's prolonged, you have to rush from school to come and make sure your young ones have eaten before you go back to school. That's where now parentification come in. So when the children remain emotionally supported, yes, as much as you are doing, we have given you some responsibility, but we also encourage you to do how to do those responsibilities. That is not that's healthy responsibility. And also when we build confidence and encourage independence, so those are healthy responsibility. But now parentification is where we are giving you adult responsibility, and there's an ongoing caregiving role. This child who become emotionally support, so emotional support is the child who is supporting us. We create chronic stress, and we also steal the childhood. You must grow up. You have grown up. You are 10 years. You have grown up. You should not behave like other children. So in that case, that's parentification. So we have two types of parentification, and we have instrumental parentification where children perform physical or practical tasks like cooking, cleaning, child care, paying bills, and also managing household duties. So in that case, that's an instrumental parentification. Then you have emotional parentification where a child becomes a parent's counselor, he provide emotional comforter, he becomes a marriage mediator, he becomes the parent's closest friend and also keeper of family secrets. That now, if there's a big problem, then my spouse, my wife, will stay out until my daughter comes from school. Then she can now come in, because now we cannot fight if the daughter is there, because she will be mediating. No, daddy, don't do that and all that. So in that case, she's taking the role of the parent. The last the last thing, we have mother wound trauma, and this also usually affect in our marriage. So when I talk about mother wound, this refers to emotionally, psychologically, or relational pain that result from a harmful, inconsistent, neglectful, abusive, or emotionally unavailable relationship with one's mother or a primary female caregiver. So it's not about blaming mothers, but rather we are looking at it as acknowledging that many mothers were also carrying unresolved trauma, stress, or unmet emotional needs. So sometimes, let's say it started off, my mother grew up in a family where the father was absent. That means my grandfather was absent. Then she grew up and never healed from that. She never got a consultant or to assist her to grow, to recover from that. So now, after she has married, she get children. Then now the challenges start coming in. She carry her children and take them home. So as she takes those children home, she does not have resources to send food and all that. So I might be staying with my grandmother, but the mother is not that supportive. So in that case, now I have to keep on now supporting or I'm staying with the grandfather. So in that case, there's no female caregiver that is giving me that mother love. So then ultimately, I will suffer from mother wound trauma. So the role of mother in early development, that a healthy maternal relationship will help children to develop emotional safety, to secure attachment, have emotional regulation, have self-worth, have empathy, have trust and resilience. So this becomes the foundation for emotional intimacy in adulthood. So the moment we missed those foundation when you are children, then when we get married, we still will not have them. So in that case, we'll still be suffering. So types of mother wound, we have emotional neglect, which is little affection, emotional distance, lack of comfort, and then you have emotional attachment, like a child becomes responsible for mother's emotion. When you have criticism and perfectionism, so where love feels conditional, or there's constant comparison. You are not bright as the other. You are not doing this. I'm buying you this because you have done this. You must be number one before I can buy you a pair of shoe. You must. So that means the threat over overprotection is that where we have excessive control, we have limited independence. So your mother can also subject you because she's pampering you. You make any mistake, no, my son, you don't touch on my son, don't touch on my daughter. So in that case, you feel that's love, but it's not love. It will affect you in future because some of the habits, some of the traits that you have corrected while you are still young will not correct them. But now, once you have become big, now the moment you want to correct, then say, okay, I'm not used to that. My mother would not have done this. So in that case, you find that you cannot have emotional attachment with your spouse. So abusive where we have physical, it could be emotional, it could be psychological, or it could be sexual in some cases. So in that case, when you have those, like now, if at all, at an early age, your mother now go negotiate with the, let's say you are a daughter, your mother go and negotiate with the men to come and sleep with you, and then she gets paid for it. So in that case, that can affect you sexually. Or if you are a gentleman, then your mother can go and negotiate with the women, other women. You go and sleep with them, then they pay her so that you can get food. So those are now the wounds that you might have when you grow up. So the couple challenge. We are almost adjourning, and now this activity, the first activities we did as individual, but now this one I would like you to do as a couple. So you will need to complete this statement together. I feel most loved when, I feel least connected when, and you will finish these statements with your spouse. Then after that, you will also have the personal reflection where you'll need to write 3 things you'll stop doing, 3 things you'll start doing, and 1 apology you need to make, and 1 conversation that you need to have this week. So you'll identify that. Then ultimately, you will make a covenant. You will make a covenant with your spouse. So you can write together. We commit to listening first, speaking respectfully, repairing conflict quickly, protecting emotional safety, growing together, praying or reflecting together regularly, and then never giving up easily. So those are now the things that you need to promise each other, and in that case, you'll have a very good emotional connection. Up to that end, if there's any question, I know we have extended beyond our time. We have extended by 24 minutes. That's beyond our time. So if there's a burning issue that I should address. Thank you for feedback. Yes, if there's nothing, Carol, you can take the honor to close for us the session.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Hello, my apologies. I just have a question.
Yes, Ross.
Thank you, Mr. Jotham. You've really been very detailed. Perhaps just to ask, we humans have been known to be creatures of habit.
Yes.
Where, we take a path that is most familiar for us. I know that you mentioned family systems can sort of like, make us think that this is the way that we should, perhaps tailor our marriage or our parenting skills a certain way because this is what is familiar for us, even though it is not necessarily so healthy. And healthy is that you've given us cause and ways of how to speak, how to express, or rather to know do you have emotional connection and how this is it and so on and so what are areas to work on. So, for example, a couple finds themselves, I give two scenarios. A couple finds themselves in the first scenario, the one partner comes from a neglectful mother. Then the other partner of the same couple comes from an overbearing mother. How is this couple supposed to harmonize? Yes, and appreciate their background and upbringing, but still be very objective and aware and very intentional, not to be what they know or have been raised as, that is neglectful, stroke overbearing. And the other second scenario is somebody who is willing to give as many chances to the partner, but the partner is given a chance, then 6 months or 1 year into being given the chance becomes or begins to, as well put it earlier, about the four horsemen, the stonewalling, and completely, comes to sever the ties of trust, friendship, the romance, all those that you had mentioned to us earlier to rate ourselves. How can you still give sound advice and encourage the two scenarios so that they know what buttons to push, and though not to give up, how to now pick up from the point for, okay, we've seen the four horsemen, and from what we know from the Bible, assuming we are Christians, but if you're not, the four horsemen have not been related to very good things, not very nice things. In this case, separation of divorce. How can they avoid that? Because there's so much to life to live on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for the question. Yeah, so I'll start with the first scenario. You see how we look at traditionally, if you are to get married traditionally, either your aunts or your uncles would have done the mediation. Now, because of that, they will also offer guidance. Because your aunt would have solicited for you the wife or the husband, they'll do mediation because they have understood the family, where the husband is coming from and where the wife is coming from. Because of that background information, so they used to guide. And if this, you can do this. So in that case, it becomes easier for the couples to cope together. Now, number two, when it comes to religious marriage, like now, if you are going to marry in church, you get the clerics are usually marriage counselors. So they'll try to understand, to bring you together. They'll ask you questions. They'll take you through counseling before you get married, so that you are able to understand those things that you might not have, or you might have overlooked. You might not have considered them serious. But now, if you are getting married in church, because you go for those counseling and those sessions, within those sessions, you are able to identify, yes, can I actually cope up with this person? There are things that this person could be hiding. You can't even tell. But now, the moment you now come to stay together, you find that you cannot hide. So again, in that scenario, because of those counseling, in event you feel no, you cannot tolerate some of those things within the process, then you can withdraw your candidature, so that you don't go ahead and get married. Then you find that you cannot proceed with that relationship. But now, this is where the big challenge happens. That we meet in town. I have no clue where you come from. By the time we have met and we are talking each other, we listen and we don't judge. Because we listen and we don't judge, I don't have to ask you about your parent. I don't have to ask you about your family. So in that case, we get and then I say, okay, I've gotten Ross and Ross is working. So I'm also working. We can support each other economically. But I've not asked about Ross' background. Ross has not asked about my background. Or if I was to ask about background, we first of all put the barrier. We listen, but we don't judge. So in that case, I can get your background. You have never had a stable family, or wherever you came from, your parents did not have a stable family, your grandparents did not have a stable family. But now I see, now I cannot judge you on the basis those are your parents. But I forget the trauma that you might have suffered because of that. So in that case, I will not seek guidance in advance, so that we can heal you from those trauma. So in that case, now we'll get into trouble as we proceed. So if we can go to those original ideals of marriage, either we are getting through those traditional marriage where now the parents can do the KYC for us, know your customer, know your spouse. They can know our spouse on our behalf. Then they can do those matching. Somehow marriage will be sweet. Or if you are going through the church and where we are agreeing to be guided, we are not just going to do come we stay. So we are going to have a real guidance counseling, and we have to go through the counseling session until we make the decision that ultimately that's how we are going to live. So in that case, that would have made our work easier. The second question might have has escaped my mind. I don't know if Carol, you got the second question. You can try to respond.
From what I picked, the first question was about a neglectful and overbearing parent. Now, for such a case, what I usually recommend is first, both of them should see a therapist separately. I always say a broken person cannot bring up a healthy relationship, a healthy family. You just find you're trying to imitate what you've normalized in your life. So if I find a couple with such a background, what I usually do for me is I just tell them, I'll be meeting you separately. Then we can meet together. That's one. Number two, she was asking about a partner who is willing to give the other person a chance, but the other person is kind of giving them time. After 6 months or after 1 year, if things wouldn't have gotten better, let's end things. I think that's the wrong approach to marriage. You can't just enter marriage 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I would rather say for this couple, one person is willing to fight it all, but the other person has already lost interest in it. It takes two people to build a marriage or to destroy a marriage. Yeah, that's my approach. Yeah. Rose?
Thank you for your response.
Okay. Yes. Now, before we finish, I just had one short comment. Most of the times we fight against each other, but the problem is not against each other. The problem is you two people should fight against the problem. If the issue is communication, the issue is not your partner then. The issue is communication. I noticed we have an issue with communication. That's just my approach to all these family. And thank you all for coming in today's sessions. We'll finish it at that. See you next week on Tuesday.
Good night, all.